Hello, and welcome back to Mountain Blade Warband. Floris Evolved, version 1.68 or something like that. I just downloaded this off of Steam. Anyway, let's start a new game. Turn down the volume a bit. You hear about Calradia, a land torn between rival sovereignties battling each other for supremacy, a haven for knights and mercenaries, cutthroats and adventurers, all willing to risk their lives in pursuit of fortune, power, or glory. In this land which holds great dangers and even greater opportunities, you believe you may leave your past behind and start a new life. You feel that finally you hold the key of your destiny in your hands, free to choose as you will, and that whatever course you take, great adventures will await you. Okay, what kind of thing do I want here? Well, I want to be a male character this time. I cannot stress that enough. Your father was... What was my father? Oh, I'll try veteran warrior. You spent your early life as... a mummer. Later you became a... gladiator. A troubadour. Why not? A reason for an adventure? That's a good question. Sense of duty, personal revenge, loss of a loved one, wanderlust, religious fervor, being forced out of your home, lust for money and power. I'm going to have to go with lust for money and power. I've quite a bit of charisma. Which kingdom do I want to start in? That's the question, isn't it? I will start in the Rhodoc Republic, I believe. I'll put on Fog of War, just because. Okay, you were born years ago, in a land far away. Your father was a veteran warrior. As a child, your family scrabbled out a meagre living from your father's wages as a guardsman to the local lord. It was not an easy existence, and you were too poor to get much of an education. You learned mainly how to defend yourself on the streets, with or without a weapon in hand. You started to learn about the world almost as soon as you could walk and talk. You spent your early life as a mummer. As a boy growing out of childhood, you attached yourself to a troupe of wandering entertainers, going from town to town, setting up mummers' shows. It was a life of hard work, selling, begging, and stealing. Your living from the punters and who flock to watch your antics. Over time you became a performer, well capable of attracting a crowd. Then, as a young adult, life changed as it always does. You became a troubadour. Though the distinction felt sudden to you, somewhere along the way you had become a man, and the whole world seemed to change around you. You set out on your own with nothing except the instruments slung over your back and your own voice. It was a poor existence, with many a hungry night when people failed to appreciate your play. But you managed to survive on your music alone. As the years went by, you became adept at playing the drunken crowds in your taverns, and even better at talking anyone out of anything you wanted. But soon everything changed, and you decided to strike out on your own as an adventurer. What made you take this decision was lust for money and power. Only you know exactly what caused you to give up your old life and become an adventurer. To everyone else, it's clear that you're now motivated solely by personal gain. You want to be rich, powerful, respected, feared. You want to be the one whom others hurry to obey. You want people to know your name and tremble whenever it is spoken. You want everything, and you won't let anyone stop you from having it. As a common man, you may face some difficulties establishing yourself as an equal among Calradia's great lords. I have Iron Flesh, Power Strike, Weapon Master, some athletics, some riding, little looting, trainer, path, finding, quite a bit persuasion, and quite a bit of leadership. These will be put to good use. Okay, I want realistic. No quitting without saving. Alright. What shall my name be? Now that's a good question. Arnold the singer. Some of that, a little of this, a little of that. What to do here? Well, I do like the bow, a little power draw, little prisoner management, some trade, definitely need trade, little shield, inventory management, need that. Okay, 1 point left. Where do I want to put it? Iron Flesh. There. Okay. Try randomizing it. No. 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 That looks like an Arnold. Black hair. Well, I do like that mustache. I do have that instrument on my back. Okay, that will do. Done. You came by ship, skirting the cliffs where the Rhodoc Highlands meet the sea. Much of the coastline was obscured by tendrils of fog that snaked down the river valleys. But occasionally you caught sight of a castle watchtower rising above the mists. And on one occasion, a beacon fire burning to warn of an enemy warband. You knew that you were relatively safe at sea, as you were too far south to risk encountering the sea raiders who trouble the coasts of the Nordic lands. But it was still a relief to reach the Selva estuary, gateway to the port of Jelkala, and see a Rhodoc galley riding at anchor, its pennants fluttering in the evening breeze. You are exhausted by the time you find the inn in Jelkala, and fall asleep quickly. However, you awake before dawn, and are eager to explore your surroundings. You venture out onto the streets, which are still deserted. All of a sudden, you hear the sound, a sound that stands the hair of your neck on end, the rasp of a blade sliding from its scabbard. Okay. Where is he? Take that. It's a shield. Don't you break my instrument. Take that, bandit. Are you all right here? Well, I guess you're alive. At any rate, I'm not sure that we can say the same of the other fellow. That's one less thief to trouble our streets at night. Although, heaven knows he won't be the last. Anyway, maybe you can help me with something. Let's talk more inside, out here. We don't know who's listening. Merchant takes you to his house. Now, let me explain my proposal. We've always had brigands in the hills, driven to banditry by war, debt, or love of violence. Recently, however, they've been getting bolder, leaving their camps in the wild and venturing into town, looking for unwary prey. The watch commander tells us it's because of all the fighting on the frontiers, for your men to keep an eye on the streets. But I'm not sure what to make of that. It seems to me that the most logical explanation is that these bandits have an ally inside the walls who helps them enter unnoticed and helps them identify particularly tempting targets. Last week, you see, they took my brother. I don't know what my brother was thinking. A lad from a prominent house, out alone after dark in times like these. Well, I suppose you are too, but you're a stranger here and didn't know how bad things have become. He had no such excuse, but his family. So what can you do? If you don't protect your kin, then people will start thinking that you can't protect your investments either. And I can't have that. No doubt the gang will soon send word about a ransom, but I don't care to pay it. So here's my proposition. You look like you've had a bit of experience with a blade, and more importantly, you must have a bit of fire in your belly, or you wouldn't be coming to Calradia to seek your fortune. So here's what I'm asking you to do. Gather a small party, track down these bandits to their lair, teach them a lesson they won't forget, and get my brother back safely. In return, you'll earn my lasting gratitude and a bit of silver. What do you say?
I am interested.
You won't be able to do a thing by yourself, though. If you try and take on the whole gang single-handedly, the hunter will become the hunted, I'll warrant. You first want to go round up a group of volunteers. There's always a few lads in the villages around here looking for a bit of work. That's more interesting than tilling the soil or hauling water. They'll follow you if you pay, so take this purse of 100 dinars. Consider it an advance on your reward. Go round to the villages and use the money to hire some help. I reckon that you need at least 5 men to take on these bandits.
Very good, sir. I'll go collect some men from around the villages.
Good. You can find me again in the tavern here in Jalcala after you got your group together. Then we'll speak about what we do next.
Okay. Well, this is certainly interesting. Let's take a look at the map. Any differences? Well, I can't really see anything. Floris is more or less the same, if I recall correctly. Now, let's go over here. I know there's a village down here. Recruit some volunteers. Okay, that's like a shield. Nothing I really want here. Don't think I really need that. Bookseller. What do you do, sir? You compose songs. Not right now. Slaver. No. Explorer. Physique Jaramus.
Greetings, fellow traveller. Perhaps you can help me.
How is that?
I shall tell you, but know that it is a tale of gross inequity. I warn you in advance, lest you are of a choleric temperament, and so become incensed at the injustice done unto me, that you do yourself a mischief. I am by training a natural philosopher, but condemned by the jealousy of the thick-headed doctors of my university to make my living as an itinerant surgeon. I was hired by a merchant of this city to cure his son, who fell into a coma after a fall from his balcony. I successfully trepanned the patient's skull to reduce the cranial swelling, but the family ignored my advice to treat the ensuing fevers with a tincture of willow bark, and the boy died. The father, rather than reward me for my efforts, charged me with sorcery. Me, a philosopher of nature! Such is the ignorance and ingratitude of mankind. The lord of this castle is reluctant to place me under arrest, but I am anxious to move on elsewhere.
Well, you could travel with us, but you'd have to be able to fight in our battle line.
As I told you, I am a surgeon, not a silk-robed university physician who has never touched a body. I can get my hands dirty. I have treated every variety of wound that can be inflicted by the hand of man. Before I was a surgeon, I was a student, so you may be sure that I have inflicted wounds as well as healed them.
Then welcome to our company, Doctor.
Good. Give me a few moments to prepare, and I'll be ready to move.
Okay, that's good. Alan? I think he's expensive. Oh, let's talk to him anyway. You there, good man. Be so kind as to fetch me another drink, eh? You must have me confused with the tavern keep, sir. My most humble apologies. It is sometimes hard to recognize folk amid the smoke and gloom here. I still cannot believe that I must make my home in such a place. I was my father's first son, and his heir. But my mother died and my father remarried. His new wife thought that her son should inherit. She could not move against me openly, but the other day I fed a pot of suet that had been left out for me to one of my hounds, and it keeled over. I accused my stepmother, but my father, befuddled by her witchcraft, refused to believe me, and ordered me to leave his sight. I hope to offer my sword to some worthy captain, as it is the only honourable profession for a man of my birth apart from owning land. But in the meantime I am condemned to make my bed among thieves, vagabonds, and merchants, and other riff-raff on the road. Perhaps you would like to join my company for a while. I would very much like that, sir. I am a gentleman, and prefer to fight with sword and lance. I recognize that you are of lower birth than I. There is no shame for me to serve under an experienced captain, presuming, of course, that your followers do not become too familiar with me. I assume that will not be a problem. Well, it shouldn't be. I'll have a talk with them. That's very good of you. Before I join, can you lend me 300 dinars, so that I can buy some proper clothes that befit a gentleman of noble birth such as myself? The coat on me has been worn down badly due to my recent bad fortune, and I cannot let common soldiers mistake me as one of their own. Very well, here's 300 dinars. Good. Give me a few moments to prepare, and I'll be ready to move. Rather expensive.
Splendid work. You've hired enough men to take on the bandits. Now, travellers entering Jacala have told us that there is a small group of robbers lurking outside the town, I suspect that they are all from the same band. The one that took my brother. Hunt them down. Defeat them. Make them disclose the location of their lair.
Very well. I shall hunt for bandits. I do not have much money left. There they are.
What do you want?
I've been looking for you. Tell me where you keep your prisoners, and I'll let you live.
Ha! Those prisoners are only going free if you pay their ransom. Did you bring any silver?
No. I brought steel. Okay, let's do this. I imagine these bandits might be a bit tougher. Than the ones in native. Well, they don't look particularly tough. Perhaps their leader. There we go. Okay, they're taking out quite a bit of my health. Where's the other one? Okay, I suppose they took them out.
Hey, spare me. Spare my life. Let me go, and I'll go far away from here, and learn an honest trade, and you'll never see me again.
I'll spare your life, but in exchange I want information. Either you or your mates kidnapped the brother of a prominent merchant in town. Tell me where you're hiding him, and give me your word that you'll stop troubling people in these parts. You can go free.
Oh, bless you, sir. Bless you. We've done the lad no harm. We've been keeping him in our hideout near Ruldi. I described the area nearby in detail, so there's no mistaking it.
Okay. Well, that's better. Decent. Nothing else here I really want. I'll equip some companions, maybe. Oh, Alan. Suppose you can give these guys books. Interesting. Yeah. Why not? Okay.
could use more recruits. Well, I'm a little weakened by the fight, but I should be healthy enough to fight these guys here. Shouldn't be too many of them this early in the game. What to do? Also, I have better armor. Sword's not very long. Well, these recruits certainly seem to be doing their job. That's good. Arnold the singer. There's the merchant's brother. Thank you, sir, for rescuing me from those fiends. Did my brother in Jalcala put you onto the track? Yes. I told him that I would find you. I advise that you return to your family quickly, and be careful on the road. Their retreat cut off, the looters fall one by one to your determined attack. The hideout and ill-gotten gains are now yours. Well, that's good. May have to sell this chicken. This is a better reach. But this one has better strength. Oh, this one's better. This one's better. Most expensive one isn't necessarily the best. Want a blunt weapon for times when I need to knock out people. There we go. Brown donkey. Okay. Not bad. Okay, let's check the equipment. Needs a helmet. One of these, and I'll give him one of these.